Okay, so we're not just going to talk about history today. No, we're going to step right inside of it. Forget the dates, forget the names of the kings. For the next few minutes, this story, it's your story. Imagine this. You're 18 years old. You're standing in a muddy field somewhere in France. The year, it's 1095. And you hear these words from Pope Urban II, and they hit you like a thunderbolt. Jerusalem, the holiest city on earth, is in the hands of infidels. And he's making a promise that seems totally impossible. Anyone who marches to liberate the Holy Land will have every single sin you've ever committed, every lie, every theft, just wiped clean. Total, complete forgiveness.
And look, this promise, it's everything to you. And you might be asking, why? Well, it's simple. You're a second son. And that means your older brother, he gets the castle, he gets the title, the land, the whole future. And you get some hand-me-down armor and a lifetime of being, well, a nobody. But this crusade, this is your one and only ticket out. It's your one shot to actually become someone.
So what do? You do exactly what thousands of others are doing. You mortgage your whole future. That little plot of land your father left you, sold. Your mother's jewelry, pawned. You are betting absolutely everything you don't even have on a war thousands of miles from home.
The night before you leave, your mother, she asks if you'll come back. And you look her right in the eye and you say yes. And you both know it's a lie, but she needed to hear it, and you needed to say it. And that lie, it just sits in your chest like a cold, heavy stone as you walk away. You don't look back. You can't.
So here's the thing nobody told you. They didn't tell you the crusade would start with walking. Just endless, soul-crushing walking, all the way across Europe. That promise of forgiveness, yeah, that feels pretty far away right now. The only reality is the dirt under your feet and this deep, grinding ache in your bones. And then you hit Anatolia. And that's when the real dying starts. This place, it's a furnace. Your armor, it's not protection. It's an oven. It's literally cooking knights alive. The water's gone, the wells have been poisoned by the Turks, so men start drinking horse blood. Some even drink their own urine, just for another day, another hour of life. You literally watch a proud knight, a man you looked up to, die on his knees, just begging God for a single drop of water. And his prayers, they go unanswered. And all the while, they're there, always there, shadowing the column like a pack of wolves. Turkish horse archers, they just dart in, let loose a hail of arrows, and then poof, they're gone before you can even think about forming a charge. And every single morning you wake up, and there are more bodies left behind on the road.
Finally, at a place called Gore, you face your first real battle, and it is chaos. You're surrounded, you're pinned down, just dying under this constant rain of arrows. And then the order comes. Charge. And for the first time, your sword takes a life. You see the shock in the other man's eyes as your blade finds his throat. And what do you feel? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Just this cold, stark relief that it was him and not you. Somehow, you survive that, and you make it to the great city of Antioch. But it's a fortress, so what happens? You settle in for a siege. 8 months. 8 long, endless months of hunger, disease, and just absolute despair.
And when winter comes, so does starvation. I mean real starvation. First, you eat the very horses you mortgaged your future to buy. Then come the dogs. Then the rats. And after that? Well, after that, you eat things that you will spend the rest of your life trying to forget.
And right when all hope is completely lost, 2 things happen, almost back to back. A betrayal lets you inside the city walls, and you unleash a massacre. Then, a massive relief army shows up and traps you. You are now the one under siege. Suddenly, a peasant claims he's had a vision of the Holy Lance, you know, the spear that pierced Christ's side? He says it's buried right here, in a church. They start digging, and what do you know? They find it. Now, is it real? Who knows? Honestly, it doesn't matter. Believing it's real, that's enough. So you sally out, starving, outnumbered, running on nothing but fumes and faith, and somehow you win.
So, Antioch is yours. But the cost? Wow. You've lost a third of your army and more than a few pieces of your own soul. But still, the grand prize awaits. It's July 1099. It has been 3 long years since you left that muddy field in France. And now you are finally standing before the walls of Jerusalem.
So you look around. You look at the faces of the men standing beside you, of the tens and tens of thousands who set out with you, all full of faith and hope. There are only about 12,000 left. The rest, they're just bones, scattered all along that long road from France.
And then the assault begins. You're climbing a siege ladder, arrows, burning oil, rocks. It's all raining down on you.
The man right above you, he takes an arrow straight through the eye. He falls, and he almost pulls you down with him. But you don't stop. You can't. You just keep climbing. Because really, there's no other direction left to go.
And then you're over the wall. And it's like hell itself has opened its gates. This isn't just a battle, it's a frenzy, a mix of religious ecstasy and just pure, raw bloodlust. Chroniclers would later write that men were wading ankle-deep in blood through the streets. And you're part of it.
And then, in the middle of all this chaos, you see her, a woman. She's pressed against a wall, clutching her child, and her eyes are just wide with a kind of terror that cuts right through all the noise of the battle. And for just a frozen second, you see your own mother's face in hers. And then, a Crusader, a man right beside you, he raises his sword.
You know, you could stop him. You could say something, but you don't. You just turn, and you walk away. You hear the screams behind you, but you just keep walking. And that face, those eyes, they're gonna follow you for the rest of your life. Longer and deeper than any battle wound you'll ever get.
By sunset, you find your way to the Church of the Holy Sepulchre. You're at Christ's tomb. And all around you, these blood-soaked warriors are they're falling to their knees, weeping with joy and relief. So you kneel too. You touch the cold stone. And you wait for that absolution, that forgiveness you were promised. And you feel nothing. Just hollow, empty.
So what now? You can't go home. I mean, what home is there to go back to? The land you sold is gone forever. Your brother is the lord of the manor now. So, you stay. This new kingdom of Jerusalem, it needs knights. And, well, that's what you are now. A knight, with nothing left but a sword and a reputation written in blood.
And so this strange new life begins for you. You get married. You even have children, but you're constantly at war. Anytime there's peace, it's really just the time you spend getting ready for the next battle. Your wife, she dies of a fever. Your youngest son, he's only 15. He gets killed in an ambush. And you bury him right there in the shadow of the city that you helped conquer. The city that has taken absolutely everything from you.
By the time you're 47, you're an old man by Crusader standards, an absolute ancient. In the year 1124, you join the siege of Tyre. You know, you're probably too old for the front lines, but you go anyway. And during an attack, a blade finds that one gap in your armor, a spot you've managed to protect for almost 30 years. And as you fall, you see the walls of the city starting to crumble. Another victory for Christ.
So in the end, what were you? A hero or a villain? A saint or a butcher? You were a landless son who ended up dying a lord. You were a sinner who killed and killed for forgiveness that you never, ever felt. The answer, I guess, just depends on who's telling the story. And the one thing that never changes, the Holy Land, it always, always demands more blood.